Preparing photos for a print edition of a newspaper is really, really important, either a print edition of the newspaper or for a yearbook or any sort of printed publication. You need to make sure that your photos are converted correctly. So I am going to convert my sea slug here. So I select that and drag it into Photoshop, and you can see I have a delightful sea slug image. Now, when you work with a printer, you need to figure out exactly what their specifications are and what is the optimal way to prepare your photos for that publication or for the printing press that they have. Rule of thumb, CMYK 300. That is the accepted print specifications across the board, at least everything I've seen. So make sure, double check with your yearbook rep, double check with your newspaper printer, and make sure that you know what you're dealing with. So you're going to go to Image, and you're going to go to Mode. And the first thing we're going to change is the color mode of this photo. Now, if you're printing a color, it should always be CMYK. That stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And CMYK is a 4-color process color that is used in most printing presses, I'm going to say in the US, at least in most of the ones that I dealt with, either dealing with newspaper or yearbook. So I'm going to change it to CMYK color. I'm going to not show that again. I'm going to say, okay, that's fine, convert it. And then I'm going to go Image, Image Size. And with your image size, your resolution should be 300 pixels per inch. If you took your photo on a cell phone, it's going to default to 72. So you want to make sure that you increase it to 300. If you took your photo on a camera, depending on how you have the camera setting set up, will also determine that resolution. So 300 is the minimum that you want. If you go bigger than 300, the problem you're going to run into is it's going to take forever for things to load into InDesign. So unless you plan on blowing that photo up to be a poster, to hang somewhere, you really don't need anything over 300. Now, what also changed was the width and the height of my image. And when the width and height changed, okay, you can see it's measured in pixels here. You can also see the document size. It's 22 inches by 16 inches. That's a really big image. That's huge. So you want to change, and this is how I do it. I change it based on the percent. So right now it's 417% of its original size. I change that to 100. And what that's going to do is that's going to maintain a somewhat normal size image. And again, when you're loading it into InDesign, it's not going to be so huge that it takes an hour for your InDesign page to open up, or worse yet, crashes InDesign whenever you try to run that page. Because my chain link was activated and because I have constrained proportions checked off, they changed together. So when I changed one, it automatically changed the other, and it automatically changed everything down here, which is what you want. Hit OK. And you can see nothing really looks any different, but if you were to go to print it and it wasn't CMYK and it was RGB, you would have kind of a pink line around your images and around some of the finer lines in here. And it would not look right. It would not be the best quality. So you always want to make sure to change the color mode and the image size, okay, appropriately for an image. When you save your image, if you are keeping it rectangle or you're keeping it the normal shape of a photo, you go Save As and keep it as a JPEG. JPEGs are great. It's an easy format to work with. It can be opened up pretty much on any computer, so that's convenient. But you never want to save over the original image. You always want to save it as a copy. Okay, so you can either save as copy here, or what we do is we rename it. So I highlighted the name. I'm going to say P because it's the print conversion of this photo. Use my last name, underscore sea slug, not slug, and then give it a number because, of course, there's probably going to be multiple sea slugs to identify on my page. Now, when you name things, it's always important to have a naming convention for your staff. That way you can find those photos again later. If you have any missing links, you at least know the general area where you want to look for that photo. And it's important to have that last name available. That way you know who took that photo. So when you're giving photo credit to somebody, you know who took it. You can go back to that person if you, for whatever reason, can't find the original image. And when you have a missing link, you know where to find it. Save it as normal. I'm going to answer the phone now.